stand here. But good afternoon and welcome. This is a great and celebrational day for Tulane University as we introduce to our university and to our broader community Mike Fitz, our president-elect, who will this summer become the 15th president of Tulane University. Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, y'all blew my script. There's lots of places in here for that, so I'll have to adapt on my feet here. But I want to begin by expressing my deep personal thanks and the thanks of our board and the entire university community to board members Rick Reese and Andy Wisdom, who co-chaired our search committee. This effort, starting in late spring of last year, and it required untold hours, focus, and dedication. And the efforts of Rick and Andy have been nothing short of heroic. Andy will deliver remarks in a moment on the search process on behalf of Andy and Rick. And as I introduce him to the podium, please join me in another warm applause for Rick Reese and Andy Wisdom.
So today's the day when you co-chair a presidential search committee and you reach this moment. You are filled with enormous gratitude and relief. Gratitude for the hard work of the committee, the input from the Tulane community, your consultants' effort and skill, and relief partly because it's over and partly because the secret held, at least until this morning. I've spent the last 5 days avoiding the phone because there was an enterprising reporter at The Advocate calling for comment. He even called one of our committee members and told him that he had heard there was green smoke coming out of the chimney at Gibson Hall. I thought that was a cute line, and it was almost cute enough to get a call back. But ultimately, I decided it would be imprudent and violate our pledge of secrecy to all of the candidates. I'd like to begin to express my gratitude by saying thank you to the committee, whose members I'd like to recognize. And for those who could be here today, if you will stand when I read your name, and when I finish, if you would all join me in a round of applause. From our board, we have Rick Reese, the co-chair of the committee, Garrell Berger, Carol Bernick, Kim Boyle, Dr. Michael Friedman, Hunter Pearson, Richard Yeoman, Jay LaPere, Sherry Leventhal, and from our faculty, staff, and the student body, Dr. Laura Levy, the Vice President for Research, Professor of Microbiology and Immunology, Dr. Tom Longo, the Eva Lou Joffrion Edwards Newcomb Professor and Director of the Tulane Honors Program, Martin Davies, Professor of the Law School, Sylvester Johnson, the Senior Associate Vice President for Facilities, and Anthony Duh, the Associated Student Body President. And I'd also like to give a special shout out to our consultant, Eileen Nagel at Russell Reynolds, who did a fabulous job. And finally, but certainly not last and certainly not least, to Cindy English, who helped us coordinate all of the incredible logistics to get this process done. Please join me in thanking them all. When we began this work about 8 months ago, and early on the committee settled on some of the general principles for the search. And among those were that it would be a confidential process, that we were searching for a man or woman of the highest integrity, character, scholarship, leadership, fundraising ability, and 3, that we were running a confidential process, that we wanted the Tulane community to have broad input to the committee to inform the process. Our first task was to select a search consulting firm. We interviewed 3 of the finest firms in the country. There was no doubt that each could help us conduct a first-rate search. But we selected Russell Reynolds largely because Eileen Nagel's broad and deep knowledge of Tulane and New Orleans made the committee feel we would get not just an excellent search, but a Tulane search. The interest in the job was strong. Wise men and women throughout the academy and even non-traditional candidates expressed interest in becoming the 15th president of Tulane University, with about 75 nominations and indications of interest at the outset. Those 75 names were contacted, and around 40 said they'd like to participate in the search. It was around that time the committee convened a series of town halls with the university senate, the faculty and staff, the students, and the alumni. The purpose of the meeting was to convey the principles of the search and to seek feedback from each group. I cannot overstate my profound thanks to each constituent group. Your input was invaluable. As an example, feedback we got from the University Senate indicated they would like to see an additional faculty member from the undergraduate program on the committee. We agreed with that suggestion and tapped Tom Longo to join us. Adding Tom was excellent advice, and to the University Senate I say thank you. The committee then met to cut down that list into a more manageable number of 25, and from that group we interviewed 15 in an off-site location for 2 full days. From those interviews, the list narrowed to 7, and after more interviews and more meetings, the candidate we are here to announce today surfaced as the choice, and I would add that he was the unanimous choice of the committee. But the travel and work didn't stop there. When our finalist emerged, we entered a nearly 3-week period where he and his wife visited New Orleans on more than one occasion, and the committee and full board of Tulane began a period of open referencing on the candidate, the results of which confirmed that our perception of his academic excellence, his integrity, leadership qualities, and personality were in fact reality. So today, as I look back on our process, I think about the nearly 100 hours of interviews in multiple cities, the conference calls, the committee meetings, the referencing, and all of the other considerations that come into play when making a decision as large and important as this one. And I am gratified to know that we made the right choice. Thank you all very much, and I would now turn it back over to Darrell Berger for his remarks. Thank you.
There's going to be a lot of hugging going on today. Thank you, Andy. Following these proceedings, we'll move to a reception in the adjacent 1834 room, which, of course, is so named for the founding year, 1834, 180 years ago, of this great institution. That serves as a special reminder and a special reflection on the importance of the events today. The university, 180 years old and counting, has been established in perpetuity to carry out its good deeds, while all of us who serve it, whether as an administrator, a trustee, a member of the faculty or staff, or in any other capacity, we're all just passing through, serving with as much love, devotion, and affection as we can bring forth at any given time. But among all those who serve, clearly the individual who functions as president is in a position to most directly steer the course and most profoundly influence the destiny of our beloved university. Thus, the choice of president is, in a very real sense, the most important decision that we, as trustees and fiduciaries, must make on behalf of Tulane. Fortunately, this choice only comes around every once in a great while. The last time we chose, due to the remarkably competent leadership of then Search Chair Kathy Pearson, it would be quite an understatement to say that we did very well. And with respect to Scott, who of course is seated with us today, today is not the day to have valedictory speeches, recitations of his achievements, and multiple standing ovations. Believe me, later in the spring and the summer, we'll have plenty of that. And also make no mistake that Scott is still 100% on the job and functioning at his usual 100 miles an hour. However, as we gather in this celebratory atmosphere to announce a future passing of the torch, it is impossible to not at least reflect on how deeply and profoundly blessed we have been to have Scott as our leader for the past 15 years. Scott. this is definitely blowing the script. I mean, it's just, there's so much more hugging and standing O's left to go. As Scott would undoubtedly insist, however, today's theme is not about celebrating the past, but rather welcoming and embracing the future. A future of great excitement and promise, a future in which we'll be led by a new individual who will embrace and celebrate the great progress we have made to date, and then apply his own personal vision, his own particular skills, and every ounce of his energy to take Tulane on to even higher places. Before introducing that individual, though, I would like to, of course, add my own personal thanks to the search committee for all their wonderful work, our trustees, faculty, staff, and student members who served on that. I also want to pause at this moment to particularly express our most special appreciation to the entire Board of Administrators of Tulane. We have at Tulane a fabulous board. Though we all possess different skills and sometimes different opinions, we always come together and function as a unified family. But in this family atmosphere, the call for a presidential search can be quite challenging, for a presidential search is unlike any other function carried out by the board. Indeed, in order to carry out this most important of all of our fiduciary functions, the search committee of the board, for many months, has to essentially carry on in private due to the necessary and appropriate pledge of confidentiality to our candidates. In essence, for a long while, we have to keep secrets from our family. Not an easy thing to do or a pleasant thing to do. So this is a sensitive process and one that requires an unfailing sense of trust, of unity, and of family spirit amongst all board members. This was certainly the spirit and support that prevailed here, and as anyone familiar with presidential searches in higher education knows, that is not always the case. So I would just pause to deeply thank and lead a round of warm applause for the entire Board of Administrators at Tulane. Thank you, trustees. Please stand, if y'all will. All right. Enough standing already. Okay. Which brings us to Michael Fitz. In searching for our new president, we were looking for many things, as Andy indicated, and we're so grateful that we found them all in Mike. As a distinguished scholar, Mike Fitz will certainly function beautifully in the superb and world-class community of scholars we have here at Tulane. As an administrator, Mike has demonstrated throughout his entire career, including an unprecedented 3 terms as dean of the law school at Penn, outstanding skills as a leader, a strategic thinker, and, not incidentally, a prodigious fundraiser. As to Mike, the person, we've tried to look into his heart, and we're certain that he will be a leader who will bring people together, infuse them with a common vision, communicate beautifully with them, and inspire everyone to achieve their highest aspirations. And finally, after all these exceedingly positive impressions about Mike's scholarship, his leadership, his good heart, our only remaining question was the soul of Mike Fitz. Whether Mike Fitz, as Scott Cowen did so beautifully before him, could be infused with and enveloped by such things as jambalaya, boudin, king cake, crawfish boils, po' boys from Domalices, and maybe a cold beater or two. Now, granted, at this stage of the engagement, Mike has only a vague idea of anything about which I've just spoken. But as we have all come to know him well, and as all of you will get to know him well also, you will all agree that the answer to that question with respect to Mike Fitz is a resounding yes. And so our search committee and our Board of Administrators have concluded that this is an outstanding scholar, an excellent leader, and perhaps more important than all that, a person of great heart and of great soul. It is therefore my privilege, on behalf of the entire board of Tulane University, to present to our Tulane community and to the city of New Orleans for the first time, our president-elect, who will soon become the 15th president of Tulane University, Mr. Michael Fitz.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Daryl and Andy, for those really beautiful words. Let me begin. I am honored and I am truly humbled to be standing here today as the 15th president of this glorious university. This is quite a moment for me. Tulane habits a distinguished and distinctive place in American higher education. Its rich and unique tradition of academic excellence, social innovation, and interdisciplinary reach set it apart. To someone like me who cares passionately about the future of higher education, Tulane is special. Its unique combination of strengths have made it a model in our country for what a university can achieve. So in affording me this really wonderful opportunity, I must begin by personally thanking Daryl Berger, Andy Wisdom, Rick Reese, and really all the members of the search committee. The process of getting to know you, and through you, the wonderful, wonderful Tulane community, its ideals and its character, has truly been a joy. Let me say, I love Tulane and what it stands for. Of course, I've long admired this institution and its people. My uncle attended Tulane, as does a member of my extended family. Indeed, a preeminent legal scholar who helped launch my legal career and first stimulated my interest in interdisciplinary education, graduated from Tulane's distinguished law school. And I've learned even more in the last few months about our talented and inquisitive students, our highly, highly accomplished faculty, our dedicated staff, and engaged and in supportive alumni. I am so looking forward to getting to know up close the entire Tulane community. Institutions are about people, their aspirations, goals, commitments, their social DNA. And you and all the people of Tulane are responsible for its academic achievements and its social commitment. And I want to learn in the coming days, the coming months, and years about your vision for making Tulane an even greater university. Now, there are many other things I'm looking forward to experiencing. I'm eager to attend my first performance at the Summer Lyric Theater. I'm ready to cheer at the first Tulane football game at Yeoman Stadium, and which will also be your first game at the Yeoman Stadium. So we will share first together. And of course, I want to ring the Tulane victory bell. I also have to say I can't wait to sample on a daily basis the delicious New Orleans cuisine. Although I know how dangerous that can be for anyone worried about the freshman 15. For those of you who, it's been a while, that's 15 pounds. I hope that doesn't mean and apply to freshman president. But given my current waistline, I'm very worried, and I think New Orleans is going to test my mettle. But let me say, my return to the South also completes a full circle on a personal journey. Half of my family are from Philadelphia, where I've spent most of my professional career. But the other half has deep roots in the South. And indeed, there are more members of the Fitz extended family here than in the North. So it's really special for me, both on a personal and a professional level, to merge these two parts of my identity here at Tulane. The strengths of Tulane also represent an academic opportunity like no other. Looking at Tulane from afar, it is an extraordinary institution with extraordinary possibilities. These are critical times in higher education. The importance of education, research, and the diversity in our country's social and economic progress has never, ever been stronger. In medical discovery, technological innovation, intellectual engagement, economic organization, universities are critical to research and teaching the next generation of lawyers. And yet, as we all know paradoxically, the value of higher education is being constantly questioned on issues of affordability, on preparation for a 21st century world, and on the impact of research, the Academy is asked repeatedly, like every institution in our society, to justify itself. And on this fundamental level, I firmly believe Tulane will play a leading national role in the coming years. It's so magnificently situated. So many academic and pedagogical innovations occur at the intersection of different fields. Solutions to our social problems don't come neatly packaged. With Tulane's historic tradition in professional and graduate training and deep commitment to rigorous undergraduate education and public service, Tulane is uniquely poised to demonstrate the power of higher education in this country. There are amazing interdisciplinary collaborations possible across the fields in this beautiful campus. The work of faculty members in seemingly disparate subjects can often find geometric power in their combination and synthesis. Programs that cross boundaries can also expose students to the language and principles of other disciplines, as well as encourage them to find new languages and invent new disciplines. These synergies produce innovation and forward-thinking leaders. And Tulane in particular, its academic excellence, its intimate culture, and its commitment to society through civic engagement position it to serve as a national model in this effort. It's what excites me so much about this institution and this position. And of course, Tulane has something else, resilience. In recent years, scholars have highlighted the vital importance of resilience or grit as a key to success in life. Well, Tulane and the great city of New Orleans embody these principles. Your extraordinary response to Katrina and the engagement in the aftermath between Tulane and the community with Tulane has been a symbol for the nation. And I so much look forward in coming years to nurturing this relationship between the two. We are all the beneficiaries. Now, for all of these reasons and more, I am so honored to be chosen to succeed Scott Cowen as president of the university. When the successes of American higher education over the past quarter century are chronicled, Scott will be remembered as one of our country's most inspired and impactful university presidents. His leadership, energy, and vision have set a standard. He is why Tulane is situated magnificently and why this is such an attractive position. Today, I am humbled by the lofty expectations you have, everybody in this community has, for propelling Tulane forward in both of its teaching and research missions. But let me also underscore, I am incredibly invigorated by the challenge. This is so exciting. It is a worthy and noble enterprise, and I hope you will all join me in that effort. I have to thank everyone here today for affording me this truly exquisite opportunity. And let me also say, and let me end with this one last invocation for everybody in the room. I am excited and thrilled to be able to say for the very first time publicly, and absolutely certainly not the last, roll wave.
Without a doubt, I am the most relaxed and relieved man here today. Thank you, Mike. I have to say, this is a truly magnificent day for our university as we celebrate the appointment of Mike Fitz as the soon-to-be 15th president of Tulane. As you have heard from others, Mike has demonstrated throughout his career the academic and administrative skills of a truly outstanding leader. However, what has impressed me most about Mike is what you heard in his remarks, which came from the heart. His words reflected his personality and his passion for undertaking the noble endeavor of serving as president of Tulane. Mike understands that being Tulane's president is not merely a job or a position, it's a labor of love. In fact, I have a prediction, Mike. I predict that during your career here, you will fall deeply and profoundly in love with Tulane and New Orleans, as I did. And you will see that love reciprocated. Mike told me last week that he is inspired by Tulane because of who we are and what we have been through. I have no doubt that he, in turn, will inspire each of us to new heights of success and service we never dreamed of. Mike is sensitive to our culture and values, and he knows this university community is comprised of incredibly dedicated, talented, and resilient people located in a truly iconic city. He also knows it abounds with opportunities and has enough challenges to keep him from ever getting bored. But what probably endeared me most to Mike was an encounter we had a few weeks ago when I first met him in person. He arrived at my house, unable to change for the evening's board dinner because his luggage had been lost. I offered him to take him suit shopping, but he did not want to impose on me. I then suggested he wear one of my sports jackets, most notably my green one. Lo and behold, the green jacket actually fit him. Mike, by the way, I have to say, when I came to New Orleans, I was 5'8" and 150 pounds. But I don't want to get distracted. However, as things worked out, his luggage arrived just in time for the board dinner. But it was during this encounter and those following where we bonded just like two regular guys, sitting together, sharing stories of our careers and our likely futures. In those moments, I saw the real Mike, the Mike I was looking for. I saw his character, I saw his humanity, and I saw his heart. And I knew at that moment he was the right person for Tulane University at this moment in time to lead this institution, which which is so precious to me and all of you. Mike, I'd like you to come up to the podium just for a moment with me. There are many things I'm going to bequeath to you when I step down on July 1st, all of which I'm going to hold as a complete surprise until July 1st, because I don't want to undo what happened today, and because Marjorie and I are looking forward to going to Disneyland as soon as it's over. But there is one thing I want to demonstrate to everyone here to show them how absolutely compatible we are and in sync with one another. So I want you to take off your jacket. Yeah. This is the green jacket. And by the way, you just didn't win the Masters. But I want you to put it on. This is the presidential jacket of Tulane University. And don't check the pockets. I can guarantee you there is no money there I took off. There is no money to be had there. But Mike, more importantly, I wanted you to know this from me to you. On July 1st, when I step down, I'm going to be so proud to call you my president. And I'm going to look forward with great joy as you take our institution that we all love and take it from renewal to greatness. You are the man to do it, and I will always be praying for you, but more than that, knowing that you will be successful. Please join me again welcoming
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this part of the program. As you know, we are going from here to the 1834 room. There will be some press interviews with both Mike and probably Scott and everyone else. Who knows? If they come up, just interview with them. And so that will conclude this part of the program. And thank you so much for joining us on this historic and celebratory day. Thank you.